What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of for Fate Strange Fake. This is episode 11. With me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah. So we pick up after the last episode, and which we actually find out where where Flat, Ayaka, Saber, and the others are trapped in there. Apparently, they're stuck in like this, according to Waver, they're stuck in the underworld somehow. Um, well, I mean, it's not like 100% clear if that's the case, but that's according to Waver that that's it's possible. I think
Well, I guess that
after
would explain
where
why
the
there are
last
multiple
episode,
Cerberuses there.
yeah, yeah. So like they're like yeah, each of them. Well, mostly just the Sabers group was just fighting off Cerberus until I think three other Cerberus ends up showing up to fight them. Surprisingly, like they all hold their own very well, especially like the police force with the noble phantasm weapons that they were provided.
Yeah. And then eventually, Richard tries to communicate with with the Cerberus, and asks if well, and says asks the Cerberus if any of them are dead because the Cerberus is supposed to be the guardian the guardian of the underworld, and he basically I guess says that they're none of them there are I guess are technically dead in a way. So I guess it's he wants the Cerberus to determine if they're if he really should be I guess going after them in the first place because they're not dead. But then I guess in a way this kind of I feel like this ends up backfiring because it ends up there are three or four other Cerberuses that ends up showing up, and they also then have to try to fight them off too.
Yeah. At the same time, I'm really having a hard time to take Richard's Noble Phantasm
Yeah,
seriously at
well,
this point
because
because he just keeps.
he just borrows one of the police weapons and uses it as and uses Excalibur, he uses that as Excalibur. Um,
I just feel like he's just him, just screaming Excalibur just kind of dumbs down, you know, Artoria's, Excalibur, true Excalibur in a way,
yeah,
because it just, I mean, there's no way that this is really Richard's true noble
yeah, that's
phantasm.
what I
This
was
he
wondering.
has
What
to
is
have,
his true noble phantasm? Because I mean, this definitely can't
yeah,
be
because
it.
yeah, because I mean, yeah, him screaming Excalibur. It just like if he were to really use that, the damage output would be much more significant than,
Well,
or at least equal to what Artorias would have been.
yeah,
But it's just like
I mean, it would definitely
it just seems
obliterate
like just regular attack.
one of the Cerberuses. But
Yeah,
all it really ends
I
up doing is
yeah
kind of damaging its leg a little bit.
yeah. It just but yeah. As of right now, I'm just not feeling this noble phantasm that he's just constantly spamming left and right. And
Yeah.
just screaming Excalibur with whatever object or weapon that he uses, against his enemies.
We should
Um,
also mention, at the beginning of the episode, we see a flashback sequence with Sigma having to, I guess, kill one of his comrades, but we're not really given much context as to why exactly he did this or what really is going on here. Um, but it seems like he just kind of it's something I guess he had to do. Um,
Yeah, I mean, he was originally working for an organization that ended up, um, high like I guess indoctrinating these groups of
yeah,
children
because
to
there
be
were other
child
child
soldiers.
soldiers that were with him.
Yeah, I would assume that maybe like this kid that Sigma was targeting might have been like might have gone AWOL and trying to leave the organization. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not really clear as to what it was, but that I think that might be the case of sorts. But yeah, so Sigma goes off to look for Tsubaki, and he confronts I think he confronts the father as to why as to why he's doing this to his daughter, and he's just like um forgot what the actual purpose was, but it's
Uh,
just I think
they
it's just mostly
they
going.
wanted to they injected her with some kind of like not a disease, but like some um basically like they made her like very like ill just so they could activate one of her like a latent magical circuit or something is what I got from it. Uh,
Hmm.
but and then uh he also kind of goes over what kind of servant she has, and that it's not. I mean, we can assume based on his description, of course, it's not like a probably not like a historical figure or mythological figure. It's something that's it's some kind of like describes it as like a natural phenomena. And so
Yeah.
it's like the like a manifestation of that. But he doesn't necessarily like say what exactly it is.
Well, yeah, there was this spirit that like suddenly appears, in front of Tsubaki. I think this spirit calls himself Zhao,
I
which I
was
could
that a
assume
woman
is
or a
like a.
man though? Like I couldn't tell.
I don't know. It's just like I mean, if I had like more information as to what this person is, I could assume uh it's a Chinese
Well,
servant.
yeah, just based on the
But yeah,
name.
well, based on like Sigma walks into the room with Tsubaki and this spirit. I mean, well, we don't really know as to what like heroic spirit this is. As like all the only name we get is just Zhao, and the other thing that we get to see is just like this special like Chinese crossbow that gets given to Sigma, which has I guess it has some kind of special properties, or maybe it's being used as a catalyst. But as of right now, we don't know much about it. Once like Zhao's spirit ends up fading away at that moment, and then once after that happens, I think uh, Jester shows up. Well, in his child form, Jester shows up and apparently just masquerades
Well,
as Tsubaki's new
well, at first
friend.
he was like he showed up to talk to Flat and the others because they were trying to figure out where exactly they were, and with Waver's help, which Assassin also busts in to try to talk with them or well confront them, and but they decide to well, I guess they more or less decide to work together temporarily just to get out of the reality marble.
Yeah,
But then Jester shows up, and he mentioned something about like I guess that not being something about it not being his real body. So I guess like his real body was actually back where like at Tsubaki's house.
yeah. I'm not sure if he was in two places at once, or
Or if he
if the
just somehow
scenes
like
like take place
teleported
there.
there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not really clear. I mean, obviously we don't know like Jester's real body because it's like we don't know for sure if like he really had like we remember like he had another body prior to this, so it's not really clear if this guy really had like any true form before
Yeah,
this.
and then also this
Um,
like Waver's basically like trying to figure out exactly how that reality marble works, and that the reality marble basically like it's pretty much what we already knew about it. Like it just copies things from the real world and puts them into the reality marble. But it's funny that we also like because I paused when they were like he brought up this like some kind of a forum page where they're talking about like some like strange phenomena that's I guess was happening in Snowfield, and like one of the comments was like a reference to the that meme from Unlimited Blade Works where Shiro says like you might just because you're correct doesn't mean you're right. And I guess like because I saw people
I
before I watched the episode mentioning Shiro, but I was kind of I was like thinking that means like is he gonna actually somehow show up in this episode? But it was just I think it was just a reference to that line.
yeah, it's just I
It's
mean
like the line
it's
people
an
die when
interesting
they're
interesting
killed.
trick.
Like it's just turned into a meme.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I didn't really take it seriously as to thinking that Shiro was really going to show up in this
I
series. I
wouldn't
mean,
be
they did
surprised,
the same.
honestly. I mean,
I mean, the only closest mention of. I mean, well, of course, we remember last week with Rin Tosaka getting
Yeah, I
mentioned,
think the
but
most that would happen would be
but
just a
getting
name
accepted.
drop or something. I don't think he would actually appear.
Yeah. hmm but yeah, I think back to like Jester meeting Tsubaki and being confronted by Sigma. I think he triggered something with Tsubaki, which causes her to, I guess, distort the reality marble,
Well, see, he
and then
asked
of
like
course,
what her wish is.
yeah, I think what was it, to make
No,
friends,
no,
or was it
it's to be a
something else?
magician, or
Oh,
to
yeah,
be like a
become a
magus.
magician.
So, uh,
Yeah, and then this ends up distorting the reality marble to the point where another spirit or servant just shows up, and it's pretty much like one of the four horsemen
I think it was a
death.
Pale Rider.
Pale Rider, yeah. Um, and then of course, what was it? Ayaka goes over to Saber, and she decides to finally commit herself to uh, into this Holy Grail war and support Saber in any way she can possible. Basically, just fully committing herself as to being Saber's master now.
Yeah, because the most because the whole time like she really didn't want anything to do with the Grail War, being a master, but yeah, now she's like you said, yeah, she's committed herself to being a master. But then of course like at the end of the episode, Francesca shows up in the Reality Marble, and like I think when she shows up, this is like there's a bunch of like cookies that descend from the sky.
Yeah, yeah, she just pops in from out of nowhere alongside her. I don't know if it's her other half or just something like that.
Yeah.
It's not really clear, um, who this other person is. Maybe just like a different embodiment of her. Yeah, it's just the thing about Francesca is just it's still a mystery to me, because I don't know if she's really a servant, or maybe she's just some overseer, like a secondary overseer, uh, next to Hansa. But like she, obviously she does have a role to play in this, supposed false Holy Grail war.
And it seems like it almost like seems like she was one of the people just orchestrating the whole thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Uh, yeah.
it was a pretty decent episode. I mean, we finally got a little bit more about Tsubaki and like what exactly like. I mean, I kind of figured this was the case, but that her parents are just kind of irredeemable, honestly, like for what they did to her, um, and that they're kind of the responsible for putting her probably in that coma that she's currently in. Uh,
Mhm.
but yeah, pretty interesting. It felt like things slowed down at least a little bit in this episode. Like it wasn't just going as things weren't moving as fast as they have been with like all these different things. I mean, there's still a lot just like happening at once, but it felt like things just slowed down a little bit just so we can get some more about what's going on with some of the other masters like Tsubaki, like what she's because I mean there's definitely been an important plot point with and she's been like one of the biggest mysteries throughout the whole series up to this point. Um, but yeah. I thought, like I said, I thought it was pretty decent for the most part. I don't really have much else to say about it though. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Yeah. At least, well, at least we finally get to see some commitment with Ayaka. Um, now being like Saber's servant now,
Yeah.
and um, I think that, more than likely, I think they're gonna resolve the Tsubaki story arc probably by the end of next week, because obviously, like, they are apparently there are plans to make a second season to this show. Um, I mean, it's rumored maybe next year, but it's hard to tell based on like
Well,
how this show was initially released.
yeah. I
So
mean, we can only hope
it's
that it's not going to suffer the same fate as the well, no pun intended, but the same have the same issues as this season did when it like the production issues. Um, but
yeah.
yeah, guys, that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.